Okay, so let's get back to the marketplace. The big story, as you already know, since last week, is Nigeria's floating first ever 30-year Naira bond maturing April 2049. 20 billion naira is what the DMO will be offering to the market tomorrow. Some analysts say, well, this is a walkover in terms of size. So let's get our first call into the market as we start this trading week. Bukola Aregbesola is the head of fixed income at Access Bank. She's joining us from the FMDQ Exchange Place studios in downtown Lagos. Good morning. It's good to have you here, Bukola. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Yeah, it looks like you folks had a very nice holiday. The markets were closed.
Yes, we did.
So, what's your take for the markets, the debt market for this week? Let's start from there.
Okay, so the highlights of the week would be the bond auction, which is set to hold on Wednesday. Prior to now, what we had seen was a bit of quietness in the market, particularly the bond market, because at the auction, 2 new bonds are being issued, and for the first time, the DMO is issuing a 30-year bond. So because of this, market is expectant. We saw a bit of selling on the longest tenor bonds and a bit of buying on the 2027 and the 2028. The 2028 being one of the bonds that had been reopened prior to now, but we're no longer going to be seeing that. So we're looking forward to Wednesday. There's going to be 100 billion on offer at the auction, and expectation is that we would see auction levels way around market levels, so 14.5 and above. And this is particularly significant because at the last auction, we had seen yields sub 14 levels at 13.5% thereabouts. So this auction, people are looking to see what DMO is going to do and the levels at which they are going to win to sell to the markets.
Okay, so what role do you think liquidity in the market will play as we start the new week? The central bank did a bit last week. The market finished off, overnight money was about 10.58%. So it looks like your market was left with some decent liquidity on Thursday before the public holiday. So where are we standing this morning as we get the market reopened?
So the money market opened with around about 70 billion this morning. However, prior to Thursday, where we had the OMO maturity, what we had seen was, irrespective of the fact that market was in repo and there was no money, there was demand for treasury bills. So we still saw the treasury bills market active and we saw buying. So for me, this week, what I expect to see, particularly also because of low level of supply of bills in the markets, I still expect to see market open with, some demand, particularly on the long end of the curve. So at this point, we're not really seeing the liquidity playing in the treasury bills markets.
So with the DMO on the left hand, with the tomorrow's auction, 100 billion, one reopening, 2 new issues, what's your take on central bank, on the other hand, with the PMAs or open market operations for this week, considering the size of what will mature on Thursday, and you folks are looking like, look, when we're done with this week, we have just about 2 more trading days before we wrap up the month of April.
So we do not expect to see CBN coming into the markets on Thursday, and that's because of the bond auction settlements, which is going to take place on Friday. So and also we do not expect to see FAC being paid this week. So liquidity is still going to be a bit tight, and because of this, we do not expect to see CBN coming into the market to do OMO this week.
And what about currency, preparing for the currency market? I'm sure your bank will be one of those who, despite what's happening now, the fixed income, you keep one permanent eye on what the central bank will do with the FX, maybe today.
Yes. So for FX, particularly because it's usually demand-driven, so client-based, I expect to see banks going to the auctions with their usual volumes. Also because at the auctions, we usually see CBN selling only about a percentage of whatever is demanded by banks. So I do not expect to see any change in activities in the FX markets this week.
You think rates will be largely stable where we finished off last week?
Yes.
A very decent one for the Naira.
Yes. So we expect for the money markets, we expect to see an increase in rates, in the overnight rates this week, particularly also ahead of the bond auction debates on Friday and also FX. So as it had opened last week at around about 50% levels and then closed at 10, we expect to see the same trend happening this week.
Bukola Aregbesola, thank you so much, the head of fixed income at Access Bank, one of Nigeria's tier 1 bank, right from the FMDQ exchange place. So have a great day, everyone.